I think a lot of where my ability to want to create and to want to put myself out there is because I feel like, am I aligning with my purpose? Like,
Yeah.
why am I on the planet? What am I here to do? I'm not saying I'm special, but like, I'm here.
Yep.
So why? You know, like,
Exactly.
and so
Right.
if I can align my emotions and somehow channel it into feeding what I believe is my purpose, well, then that at least gives me purpose to be
Mm,
here, you know? So it feels like spiritual in a way.
yeah. Welcome to Sensitive Stories. This episode is for educational purposes only and is not intended as a substitute for treatment with a mental health or medical professional. Let's dive in. Hi, Tori. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so excited to connect with you today.
April, I am beyond excited to connect with you. And I love that I found you through your work and the space you create on social media. So it's really just not just an honor to be here, but like I already feel super relaxed. So
Same.
thank you.
Absolutely. I'm so excited to connect. I love that we can meet folks through Instagram, and just a little shout out to Dorothy and Ren from
Yes.
Ren's Coffee House and Books. That's how we came to know each other.
Yes.
And yeah, now we're getting to know each other a little bit further in face to face, which I love. Um,
Absolutely.
and just excited to hear more about your internal work, because I know you spend a lot of time in the public space and out in the spotlight, but
Mhm.
I'm excited to go a little deeper today.
Yes. And I love to go there.
Great.
Anybody who's willing to go to that depth with me, I'm like, let's go,
Let's
baby.
do it, right? That's what we
What's
do.
down there? Yeah.
Exactly. Let's go deep. So speaking of that, I'm wondering, I always like to hear about how you got here to knowing that you're sensitive. So I'd love to know a
Mm.
little bit more about your HSP discovery story. How or when that you realized, oh, I'm more sensitive than other people.
Yes. And I didn't even know that HSP was a thing until you.
Wow. Okay. I feel honored.
I knew, so when I picked up the workbook because the name of the workbook is Find Your Strength, which I'm sure your whole audience already knows. I just wanted to say it right, so I had to like look at it very quickly. I'm
Thank
like,
you.
let me not mess this up. But I was I saw the book that Ren posted and I was immediately drawn to it. I picked it up and I started going through it. And so I guess that's when I figured out that a lot of the prompts in the workbook were things I was experiencing, but I never considered myself a highly sensitive person because I feel like when I think of a highly sensitive person, I'm also very out in the public eye. I'm also like doing a lot of charismatic, I don't even know if that's a word,
Charismatic.
charismatic things. I'm out there, I'm in the
Yeah.
streets. So like, I felt like, maybe that's not me. But when I think about it on a deeper level, I have always been extremely sensitive. My connection with animals has
Mm.
kind of been the first doorway for that for me. I'm a full vegan. I have been for over 3 years now, and
Mm.
I've always kind of like teetered the line of vegetarianism and veganism, but I never fully committed to it until more recently.
Mhm.
But that's kind of when I realized, okay, I have a lot of feelings and a lot of connections with just people. Anytime anybody talks to me, I can put myself in that person's shoes and I can feel what they're feeling.
Mm.
Anytime. It has to take a really nasty person for me to forget that I'm supposed to try to put myself in their shoes,
It's just
you know?
automatic.
Yeah, it's just automatic. The moment somebody meets me, I meet them exactly where they're at.
Mhm.
And that has carried me through really interesting places in life. Like it's been this blend of being an athlete, but also like creating a lot of camaraderie on my team. I was always picked to be a captain. And I think that had to do with not my skill set because I was not the best soccer player. Like, was not. I just had an ability to connect with a lot of my teammates, which is what, being a good captain is essentially. And then that translated into eventually getting on a TV show, which my first one was this show, Are You the One? And it was a dating show, but you also have to connect with your castmates.
Yeah.
And so then again, it comes down to connection. And I always felt like I thrived in that area, having deep conversations with people and really getting to know them, like not just like these like frizzy little frail combos about like gossip or whatever. I can't, it's just so low energy to me. So when I started
Mhm.
to realize like, okay, this is kind of who I am, I, I guess it's just been, I'm still learning about it, I guess
Yeah.
I like to say, but yeah, more recently I've really just kind of tapped into what it is. And so thank you for putting out all you do because I feel like I've learned so much from you already.
I'm so honored to be part of that process for you because it's true. If you look at the surface of what you're doing online, and maybe in your personal life too, I'm not sure, but like you wouldn't tag you as a sensitive person. But when I looked at the space between the lines, how you talk about your experiences, the depth that you share, your emotionality, reading your book Soul Spill,
Oh.
HSP all over the place. It's like this is so obvious. And I just want to give just folks watching this on YouTube just like a little sneak peek here because if you just look at some of the imagery, and I know you had an illustrator, but
Yeah, I
like
know.
this is kind of the vibe we're going for here,
Yeah.
right? And I just want to read a little passage. This is
Oh,
one of my
thank
favorites, if
you.
that's okay. Just a pause here
Yes,
real quick.
absolutely.
This one's called Lost. A desolate plummet, coiled in pain, lost in the depths and drowned by the rain. And that's just a little sneak peek. This book is so deep and emotional.
Oh,
Like, there's
thank
no
you.
way you're not an HSP.
Yeah, yeah. Super emotional person.
Yeah.
Super emotional. I mean, and balancing emotions has been such an interesting experience because I was on SSRIs for 2.5 years
Mm-hmm.
and I just recently came off them and I mean like that is a whole nother
Yep.
conversation, but like learning how to balance
Yeah.
emotions and like feeling them is a work of a lifetime, truly.
That's an understatement. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
it's life's work.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
is.
Mm-hmm. And this is one of the reasons I was excited to talk to you because you are not the stereotypical HSP, but I think we need to highlight the folks that don't fit in this kind of fragile mold. Because
Hmm.
we can be out here as HSPs. We can show up. We can be
Yeah.
in the spotlight. We can, put out our creative works and internal emotional feelings out in the world. We can do all that.
Yes.
And so
It
I
gave me
love,
chills.
yeah, right? Like, let's do
Yeah.
more of that. And I love seeing you put all those pieces together for yourself. Like, yeah, all these things can be true,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely. I totally agree. And at some point, I guess there was this like learning of how to take a lot of sad feelings and turn them into of a more action-based
Mm.
approach. Like, well, what are we like? There's an anger in here now, so where are we going with this? So this is a whole.
Exactly.
So how can I use that anger and turn it into something that is
Yes.
healing but also powerful and then maybe
Mhm.
can make an impact, you know?
Yeah.
I think a lot of where my ability to want to create and to want to put myself out there is because I feel like, am I aligning with my purpose? Like,
Yeah.
why am I on the planet? What am I here to do? I'm not saying I'm special, but like, I'm here.
Yep.
So why? You know, like,
Exactly.
and so
Right.
if I can align my emotions and somehow channel it into feeding what I believe is my purpose, well, then that at least gives me purpose to be
Mm.
here, you know? So it feels like spiritual in a way.
Yeah. It's deeper, right? I mean, there's some reason you're feeling the anger, the sadness, all the emotions. And
Yeah.
the message is dampen those down, keep those
Yeah.
contained. But as you're starting maybe to step into them more,
Hmm.
you get to see, oh, wait, there's meaning here,
Yes.
right? Like anger is not here just because. I'm not being
Hmm.
irrational, not being dramatic. There's a reason,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Um, so I'm curious if you're open to it, as you were growing up, not knowing you were sensitive, and so many of
Hmm.
us don't, we just know something different about me. I feel more, I'm not quite like some of the other people in my life.
Hmm.
Was there messages you got about being a big feeler?
You know, not really, because I
Mm-hmm.
would say that I kept a lot of my emotions to myself
Yep.
and I wrote poetry.
Yeah.
And I like really realized how sad I was when I was like, I went back to my dad's house after I had moved back home and I like was going through old boxes that I had when I lived there.
Yeah.
And I saw a poem, like a really sad poem that I wrote, I guess, when I was a kid. And I was like, oh, this is where it all went.
Yeah,
To the
right.
outside world, like in my family, in my childhood dynamic, I was always the funny one, the one that made the situation easier for
Yep.
everyone to cope with. And I became the scapegoat for entertainment because
Yep.
it alleviated some type of chaos that was happening within the
Mm-hmm.
family. And that has just completely multiplied for my adult life.
Yeah.
So, like, I have been working with a life coach for, I'd say, 5 years now. I've had a
Mm-hmm.
therapist in between that
Yep.
experience. So I've done so much work figuring out now how it turned from that to this. Because
Yeah,
at
right.
some point I'm like, wait, how did I get here?
Right.
It stems from everything back there. So I think like
Yeah.
I started to realize when I was sensitive, when I guess, my friends weren't writing poetry or my
Right.
friends, they weren't doing
Right.
these kinds of things. So I'm like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
well, I'm figuring out an outlet.
Yeah.
So this means that there's something that needs to come out.
Exactly. And you had the intuition to know poetry is a way to let that out.
Yes.
Right? Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Because how do you know that? It doesn't sound like you come from a family of poets.
No, but you know what it was? I always had like the relationship with my mom was she is a good person and she
Mhm.
means well, but I think there was a portion of time where there was a bit of a disconnection.
Sure.
And so there was one point where she gave me a compliment and I took that compliment and I ran with that compliment.
Yep.
She was like, "Oh, you're a good writer." And like that made me feel like that was a point of connection with my mother. And it's so funny because I'm like really piecing that together kind of right now. Like I feel like
Yeah.
I knew that, but I never really said that out loud before.
Mm,
So it's
that's
interesting because
important.
yeah, I think that like moment was very, very powerful.
Hmm. It makes sense because as HSPs, we take any little morsel, we soak every bit out of it. I can relate to that a
Mm,
lot. Like those comments that might even be just said in passing, they mean
hmm.
everything to us.
Everything.
Everything. And that
Yeah.
was, mom's little way of saying, like, ah, this is
Hmm.
okay, or I support you, or whatever the message was.
Yes.
And you're like, yes, please, I'll take it.
Yeah. How many poems will you read?
Exactly.
I'll write
Right.
hundreds. Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then and then that leads you to writing a book. I mean, that's pretty
Yeah.
amazing, right? That's
Thank
the
you.
impact.
Oh man, like what a cool experience to, and I'm sure you feel the same way about
Hmm.
being an author. Like it's just such a work of heart and
Yes.
a labor of love,
It
you
is
know?
truly a labor of love.
Yeah.
And
And it's
there's a lot
amazing.
of growth that happens in the process just for myself. I don't know if that would be true for you, given how personal the
Definitely,
material
yeah.
is.
There were some poems in there like I had to kind of run by my family because I never talked to them
Sure.
about some of those moments before. And so when
Yeah.
I did eventually, it was just cathartic. It opened me right up, and
Yeah.
like it just brought us together in a way that we were able to heal things from
Mm.
many years before. So it felt like a very important part of my healing process.
Yeah, it's interesting because you said, you used to be the scapegoat in the family, and
Hmm.
that's often how the emotional ones are. Like we just
Yeah.
take it all on and we are the emotional kind of channelers for the family.
Yes.
But now it sounds like you're more of the emotional leader.
It feels, it does feel good in that way. And you know what's so cool is I'm like really stepping into that leadership
Hmm.
role. And I kind of got this from doing the workbook because there
Mm.
was a prompt about what's in your toolkit when you're
Yeah.
feeling like when you're feeling like you're having one of these emotional moments. And
Yeah.
for me, it's always been meditating.
Mm.
And I realized how much I loved it. And I have just constantly been writing about it. And that moment for me was like, oh, I should dive deeper into this. And now I'm getting certified to be a meditation coach.
Oh, I love this.
Yes. So it's helping me. It helped me kind of step into that confidence, which is another thing that I struggled with. Well, like, how can you be confident with your emotions? Like, it's not a career, right? Like,
Right.
I guess it is when you're a therapist, right? Like,
It
when you,
is, yeah.
yeah, I
I
guess
made
it
a
is.
job out of it.
Yeah, you can absolutely make a job out of
Yes.
it. I guess you know what? You're so right. So you're a professional
I
emotional
always
wrangler.
I always joke people pay me to help them cry.
Yeah, but like, it's such a great and beautiful thing, you
Yeah, it
know?
really is. I feel it's a privilege.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, and for you to be able to help other people the way you
Mm.
do, you have to have been able to feel that pain.
Absolutely. You have to do the work first,
Yeah.
right? Just like you have to sit in meditation and experience the discomfort and the bliss of that, all of it
Yeah.
first before you
Hmm.
can guide others through it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And intuitively, I was already like opening up my space to being like, friend, let me guide you through meditation. Or
Right.
like,
Yeah.
but now that I've really honed in on it and like
Mm-hmm.
have been like learning so much, it's
Yeah.
been such an awesome way to be a leader in this emotional
Yeah.
space in a place that comes straight from my toolkit.
Yeah, right? I
Hmm.
think a lot of times we don't even realize what's in our toolkit.
Yeah,
It's
that's
because
true.
it comes naturally or organically, like poetry did for
Hmm.
you. So you mentioned poetry, you've mentioned meditation. I'm
Hmm.
curious, are those the primary tools, or are there other tools that help you really sit with and maybe work through your emotions?
Yeah, so I definitely think relying on a friend has always been a big one for me. Like
Mm,
being able to like have that one trusted person to
yes.
confide in. And then the other one is kind of like where I guess it's like a power meditation. It's when I'm working out. Like
Yes.
I don't love working out, but I love the feeling I experience when
Yes.
I'm done working out.
Right? And you know what? I'm realizing now, I think a lot of times we think sensitive, oh, we have to be gentle with ourselves, but you're hearing a lot more, which I'm excited about that. Working out, pushing yourself actually builds resilience in your nervous system, right? And
Yeah.
we know the effects of on our mood and our
Hmm.
energy, but also on our regulation.
Yes.
So exciting to see. So I love seeing that you're modeling that for folks.
Thank you. Yeah. And it's
Hmm.
the integration of mind, body, spirit, you know?
Right.
That's what it is. It's that body piece that like when I'm not actively practicing some type of movement, whether it's a slow yoga flow
Hmm.
or it's a dance, sometimes I'm
Yep.
chaotically dancing around my house, like no one watching.
Oh yeah,
And like you have to.
you
Like
have to.
honestly I wish people were watching because it's great. It's really not, but it's really not.
I bet
But
it's freeing though. I mean, I have a
freeing.
space that I left clear in my living room just so I could like dance with
Yes.
abandon. Like just,
Yes.
yeah, just lose it.
Exactly. So yeah, I think like yeah, movement is so key and it's
Hmm.
a form of meditation in a way once you get to that place of I like that runner's high can
Yep.
kind of bring you there. If you do like a walking meditation, which is something that's really cool, you get this euphoric experience of
Yes.
connecting mind and body and spirit. And
Yeah.
so there's so many cool ways to incorporate movement into being in your toolkit.
Absolutely. And I love that you're talking about these tools, which I think we often segregate. Oh, meditation's over here and then
Mm,
exercises over here. No, we can blend them together,
yeah.
right? They can all be
Yep.
one. Everything could be spiritual.
Everything. If it's an act of love, if you're doing it with
Hmm.
love and awareness, it's a spiritual activity.
That's it. Exactly.
Hmm.
It's really the mindset you bring to it.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah,
So working out for you is more than working out.
definitely. And sometimes
Yeah.
it's not. I'll be honest.
Oh,
Sometimes
sure. Yeah.
it's, me bullying myself like, all right, you have to get ready to compete soon. So
Sure.
kind of put on that warrior attitude. But
Yes.
when it's like right now I'm in an off season, I'm not going to be competing for probably a year. If
Hmm.
I decide to compete again in a year, I'm taking
Hmm.
like a really big, beautiful long break for myself.
Mm, nice.
And in this time, I'm definitely not bullying myself in the gym,
Yeah.
like it's just, we're flowing through it.
Yes. Yeah, just letting yourself be. When you
Hmm.
and for folks who are listening, you say compete. Can you let them know what do you mean by that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So I originally, I talked about I was on a dating show called Are You the One? And then that really is what catapulted me to be on another show called The Challenge, which is on
Hmm.
MTV. And it's like I always tell people not to watch it because it's like, I would have never in a million years watched it had I
Hmm.
not been on it. And that's not
Sure.
because I don't like reality TV. Actually, that's exactly why. I don't like reality TV. But I got pulled into it and there was that physicality aspect, and I played
Hmm.
soccer my whole life. So a lot of the people that they cast on the show never really took athleticism seriously enough. They were more
Hmm.
gamers, like political gamers, which is still a great quality to have in the game.
Sure.
But when it comes to the challenge, it really also depends on being able to compete.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've been a competitor on the challenge from season 30 to basically season 40 and maybe took two off in between. So just years of
Yeah.
doing insane stunts, throwing my body off a 700-foot building, like, running into someone full speed. It's called a hall brawl. It doesn't feel good when you're done,
No, I bet.
like lots of really aggressive masculine energy
Yeah.
kind of things. Yeah.
I mean, but you're really pushing yourself, right? In that. I'm curious for you, it sounds like, it's a physical challenge,
Mhm.
but is there anything that you gain in that emotionally or
Yes.
mentally from that practice? I'm sure it's more than just what we're seeing on the screen.
Definitely. So the whole thing, like the entire experience of filming a season, it goes for the longest it will go is 3 months. So
Mm,
we compete maybe two times a week, unless you have to go into an elimination. But there's
sure.
only 4 times to compete total
Hmm.
within that week, and you're there for 12 weeks.
So it's a lot.
So it's a lot of competing, but there's also a lot of downtime.
Yeah,
And
right.
the competitions, sometimes they're very short. Sometimes it's just jumping off a building. And that was like, it took
That's
two
it.
minutes for
Right.
your round, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So there is a lot of downtime. And so it's
Yeah.
interesting because when you're in this downtime, in between competing, you
Yeah.
have to go through this emotional state of being very worried what the competition is, nervous about it, anxiety, all of these fears start to come up. And then you kind of go into the high of like, oh, now I'm competing.
Right.
So your emotions are really just kind of scattered throughout this entire
Mm-hmm.
process. So years of doing this, like I have seen myself be completely emotionally dysregulated while I was competing and I've seen how that's shown up I just have seen the difference in myself over the
Yeah.
years and being able to manage my emotions. So I think from the physical competing portion, I have gained definitely an emotional resilience because I believe
Mm-hmm.
in myself. There is more confidence that I have that I will be able to push through something, whether it's a physical obstacle or if it's a mental obstacle. I've survived. I'm
Yes.
like, I'm still here. So
Right.
it's,
Right. I mean, this is what a teacher, it's like when I'm doing therapy and I can help the person hold themselves back against past versions. You get to do the
yes,
same thing.
yes,
Season 5, season 8, season 10 that you're doing,
yes,
over the 10 seasons that you've been involved, you can see the progress.
yes.
So it sounds like, going forward, you're regulating your emotions more.
Yes, absolutely. And like the season I won, the first season I won was actually the first season that I was like, this is when I had just started to take antidepressants. And like I
Yeah.
was like really,
Yeah.
really shifting away from the drama and the chaos that that type of environment can create.
Hmm.
And like I said, now I'm not on that anymore. And I have nothing negative or positive to say about being on them or not being on them. It's totally
Yeah.
neutral.
Yep.
It's either good
Agreed.
for you in the space or it's you're done with them. So
Exactly. And sometimes you're on them forever, and sometimes you do it for a period. Just get yourself
exactly.
back on track. There's so many
Yes.
options there. And it sounds like
Yeah.
it helped you get through a period.
It was totally a crutch for me and
Hmm.
it was a very necessary one. Like
Yep.
it yeah, I mean like I don't want to like be dramatic, but like I can't imagine not saying it didn't save my life because I feel
Absolutely.
like I feel like it did. It was such a big piece of me being happy and learning to love myself again and trusting myself and I felt like the universe rewarded me with finally after season losing, finally winning a season. Like it was
Yeah.
that season that I was like finally really holding space for my emotions and all of the stuff that comes with just like, everything that life offers all of us. So,
Right, because you're not just doing this challenge. Life is still going on.
yeah,
Family and friends and relationships and, all the
exactly.
things.
Right.
Right. But, you found something else to keep in your toolbox. Just
Yes,
going back to
exactly.
that,
Hmm.
that metaphor. And it got you to here, which I always love those pieces that are little bridges.
Hmm.
Just get me to
Yeah.
the next phase, right?
Hmm.
Yeah. And you also talked about downtime in there. I think that's important to recognize. You might see the intensity on the screen, but it's not the whole story.
Hmm.
And this is such a great metaphor for life. Like
Mm.
you may see someone out there in the spotlight, but it doesn't mean that's the whole picture. There
Hmm.
are other things going on. I'm
Hmm.
curious if you're open to sharing, like, what are you doing in that downtime? Are you processing? Are you writing poetry? Are you
Yes.
connecting with people?
Yes. The answer
Yeah.
is yes. I
Yes.
am usually pretty when it comes to connecting with people in that environment,
Hmm.
the different tapestry of people they cast.
Yeah.
It is so you have to connect with everybody because it's a political game. But like
Yeah,
if I was outside in the real world, it would be very difficult for me to connect with some of those energies. That's the
sure.
best way for me to put it. So I definitely prioritize creating a safe space. I know that it's also mentioned in your book, like
Yeah.
creating a cozy bedroom space. Like we sleep in bunk beds. I will find a potted plant in the house. I will find some cute rocks outside. I will literally yard sale my room. Like I will find stuff
Yes.
around and I will make it cozy.
Hmm.
And as people leave the game and get eliminated, I'll take their pillow or I'll take their comforter. And like now I'm
Yeah.
building it up to make it fluffy. So I'll create a safe space and I'm tapping into meditation. I'm sitting in nature as much as possible and
Yeah.
connecting with that because nature is just literal medicine and writing a lot
Yeah.
as much as I can.
Hmm. Yeah. You bring up such a good point that you can create a safe space anywhere,
Hmm.
right? Sometimes it's purely internal,
Hmm.
and then other times you're finding those little anchors. It's a rock, it's a plant, it's an extra blanket, just something to create some coziness or some connection to something real,
Yeah.
right? Are
Yeah.
you, so you basically are not allowed to bring much or anything,
Not too much, no.
not too
And
much, so you're needing to be resourceful.
yeah, like I always bring
Hmm.
like a crystal, I always bring
Right.
like something small, but
Hmm.
and like pictures of my cat, things
Yes.
that like I can like
Hmm.
pray to.
Exactly. Right. Those reminders of home.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
small, very,
It's
very
small.
small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which has been helpful with traveling too. Like even when I
Sure.
leave, I do travel a lot and I'm
Hmm.
always kind of like getting thrown in the mix of like do this event or do this thing and I have a hard time saying no. So I'm kind of like sure and then like I find myself in this position literally right now. I have to leave this weekend to go to Miami for this
Hmm.
huge thing and I have been having anxiety all week about this and I'm like I'm just
Yeah.
going to bring I literally have it in my mind. I'm going to bring my little crystal. I'm going to bring my rock that says dream on it. I'm going to bring, like, I
Yeah.
am applying those same, like, things that I bring to the challenge. I apply that now to my everyday, or
Yes.
every, regular life travel.
Hmm. Right. It's such a teacher. Like, oh, this actually helps me. Like,
Yeah.
I can get through hard things because I'm taking care of myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that a different mindset than a few years ago?
I think it is more aware, I would
Yeah.
say. It's more aware. I think a few years ago, it's a little bit more like I'm just kind of hoping that I'll find comfort there. Or maybe if I brought this, like, yes, this does bring me comfort. But now it's like, okay, I know if I want to ease my tension right now or deal with the fact that like I have to be in an airport with a bunch of people or
Hmm.
on a flight, or in a hotel that I've never been at before, then I'm going to try my best to bring my space with me.
Yeah.
So it's definitely helpful to like be more intentional about it, which I also like help like the idea of a workbook and being able to like physically write some of these things down. You'd be
Hmm.
surprised with how much you already do know. But like when you put
Exactly.
pen to paper, it's like, oh yeah, here's my map. Like
Right.
I've been navigating off my brain map, which is like always intrusive, like a thought pops up and all of a sudden
Right.
a map gone.
Exactly. Well, that's it. When we get dysregulated, all those tools kind of go out the window. I always think
Mhm.
like, or I say, I've got my tools, but I don't choose to use them because we
Yeah.
forget, right? Like we go completely offline and we're in that swirl, that internal swirl,
Yeah.
just being in panic or anxiety mode. It's like, oh wait, let me just write that down and look at my cheat sheet here. Like, what
Totally.
are my tools?
Yeah.
Or having something tangible. Okay, like I'm
Hmm.
here, I'm okay, the world is
Hmm.
not on fire.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I'm okay right
Well,
now. You just need
yeah.
those things that bring you back.
Even like my wallpaper on my phone, like sometimes if I know I need like a mantra, like I'm
Yep.
like, okay, I know I'm going to see my phone. I'm going to put it right there.
Yep. Best place.
Boom.
I'm
You
always doing
know?
that. You just have to have those things that just pop right in front of you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Definitely.
it doesn't have to be that complicated, right? Like I think a lot of times people think it has clients always say this to me like, "Oh, it's so easy, it's not going to work." Like it will work,
Yeah.
right? Like
Yeah.
meditation, I think people also make more complicated than it needs to be.
Yeah. And you know what's so interesting about meditation is there's three different major types, and
Mm.
they apply to different types of people. So
Ooh.
depending on the type of person you are, so let's say you're somebody who is like math driven and a numbers person, you're
Yeah.
going to benefit more easily from a focus meditation, which is
Mm.
literally sitting still for 5 minutes, breathing in one, exhaling two, and then just focusing on those numbers for, if you're
Yes.
just beginning, try 1 minute, try two
Right.
minutes. That's going to activate the part of your brain that you feel most comfortable using, which is your prefrontal cortex. If
Right.
you're somebody who is looking for emotional regulation, then you need to tap into an awareness meditation, which
Mm.
is when you close your eyes and you bring yourself to your center and you can kind of just bring soft awareness to different parts of your body. How do my feet feel? How do
Mm.
my knees feel? How does my heart feel? How do my feet feel? How do my hands feel? All these
Yeah.
places. And this accesses your amygdala. And that is to help you with emotional regulation.
Right. Okay. This makes a
And
lot of sense. Yeah.
yes.
And there's one more.
One more, yeah.
Yeah.
And so then there's visualization meditation, which is my favorite because
Mhm.
I'm super creative. And so I love to kind of like live in the land of, wherever.
Yes.
Also, if you're somebody who can like tap into escapism too much, then like, this one is easy to go to, but like it's
Hmm.
recommended to kind of keep yourself from going too far out into the, because what you want to do is make sure that you feel good in your body. But in
Mm.
visualization, you're basically just accessing you're visualizing yourself doing something that you love. Like an athlete might visualize themselves like kicking the ball in the net, and therefore they're manifesting it, but they're more so like allowing that experience to live in their body and accepting it.
Mhm.
So, and that accesses your occipital lobe and
Mm.
one other part of your brain that I can't remember off the top of my head
Mhm.
right now. But it's so different for everybody.
Yes. Yeah, and I think we do put meditation in a box, like, oh, I've got to sit perfectly still,
Yeah.
cross-legged, but it's like, no, there's so many ways in.
Yeah, there's so many ways in. There's so many ways in.
And I really appreciate you breaking that down because I hadn't heard of those three categories before. Focus,
Hmm.
awareness, visualization. And
Yes.
visualization, I personally love it so much
Same.
because it allows me to try on something. I
Yeah.
think that's really good as I don't have any research to back this, but I think as an HSP that's really helpful because
Mm.
then I get comfortable with it before it actually happens, or it helps me kind of clear out all the noise. Like I'm currently working on a book and I just keep visualizing the book being finished, which is
Mm.
helping me get through the hard parts of writing
That's
the book.
amazing.
Just like I imagine you're doing the same when you're going up in a challenge or you're doing
Yeah.
something athletic or whatever
Yeah.
you're doing. You're writing your own works.
Yeah.
Like, let
Yeah.
me visualize this.
Absolutely. And like I know that you say that you maybe don't have like the stats to back it up, but like why not be the first person to kind of
True.
trailblaze that and
Good
like
point.
create some stats around it? Like,
Good point. Right.
yeah.
Because it makes a lot of sense. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and just to have these options, I think I like to probably dabble in all three, but visualization
Yes.
has my heart.
Yeah, well, oh, same, literally
Yeah.
same. And
Yeah.
it's funny because that one is being introduced to us in the course last because I think a lot of
Mm.
people resonate with that, especially
Yeah.
people who naturally find themselves meditating, who are more logic, like number based and, they love structure.
Yep.
Those people are definitely probably not looking for meditation as an outlet first.
Right.
So introducing them to something like a focus meditation is just, it's going to be received better because it feels more
Yes.
tangible to them.
That makes sense, right? Because it's matching how their brain works,
Yeah.
right? I think that's
Hmm.
so important. Like, go for the thing that feels like it's a good fit,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Why are we always
Yeah.
trying to push ourselves and do something that doesn't work?
Yeah, and I like what you said, try something on. Like you can do it for
Exactly.
5 minutes. That's an investment of your exploration in what serves you.
Exactly. Oh, I love that. Yeah, exploring what served you or what could serve you.
Yeah, what could serve you.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you know yet? So,
Mhm.
and I know we're going off the cuff here a little bit. We didn't plan to
Mhm.
talk about this, but
Mhm.
so I'm just thinking about, okay, if I'm just starting out meditating and I'm like
Mhm.
dabbling in these three different types.
Mhm.
So there's going to be some initial clunkiness. I
Mhm.
might not know what it feels like yet. I might have a little bit of resistance, especially if I
Mhm.
am in a really anxious state.
Mhm.
So how do we know when to lean in or switch gears and try a different type?
Mm. Well, I think you sit with, like my coach tells me, you
Hmm.
sit with one for, You don't just rush out of one.
Ah,
You have to give it the opportunity to show you what it's made of.
ooh, yeah.
So allowing yourself to experience the resistance but still showing up is
Mm,
huge.
yes.
And also, I think that could probably build that emotional resilience that you mentioned because we're not always going to be comfortable.
Right.
And it's kind of part of the process. So the more we learn how to just allow the discomfort to kind of breeze by us, the easier
Yes.
it will be with everything.
Absolutely. This is an opportunity to
Yeah.
build that resilience. So
Yeah.
don't give up too early.
Yeah. And with the course, we tried focus for about a week. Then we
Mhm.
went to awareness for about a week. Then we combined them. We went from
Mm.
focus into awareness and added the time together. So now we were doing 10 minutes. So we spent about a week on each one.
Mm.
And it was very hard for me to not want to jump to
Sure.
visualization. And I'm like, okay, one, two, breathing. Okay. Oh, I'm in the sky. I'm in the clouds. There's my higher self. What's up?
I know. I was thinking I would get bored with too much
Mm,
focus meditation.
yeah.
Like if I'm getting body work done, I'm having a trip.
Mm-hmm.
Like I get so many
Mm-hmm.
visuals, it's like I'm on drugs.
Yeah, I get it. I so get it.
So I just go right there.
Yeah.
But there could be discipline in that.
Yeah. Well, also for you, maybe that's a good place for you to go. Like
Totally. Yeah.
like this could be if this brings you to a state of feeling homeostasis within your
Hmm.
body, then you're doing the right one. I mean,
Truly.
yeah, you don't need to, all three don't need to serve you.
Yes. What great permission.
Yeah.
Right? If it's not serving, you tried it, you gave it a good shot,
Yeah.
maybe let it go.
Totally.
Oh, love
Yeah.
this. What a good teacher.
Same. Same. I mean, I love that we're able to talk about it because it's such a passion of mine because I've
Mhm.
learned how to regulate myself through this process.
Yes.
And again, like I said, I really when I put pen to paper when I was working through your workbook, it was like, yeah, I need to like actually give this a little bit more life because that's how passionate I am
Yeah.
about it.
Well, I can tell. I mean, there's energy there and it's
Yeah.
worked for you. And now this is what it was like for me in therapy. Now I want to share that with others,
Yes.
right? Like, let me not just keep this to myself. I don't want to gatekeep.
Totally. Yeah.
Bring this out. I love I feel like this has been a theme today as I'm hearing your story. Everything is building.
Mm-hmm.
Early experiences are serving you later and
Mm-hmm.
continuing on.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like, being an athlete has potentially helped you with your meditation
Mm-hmm.
or being that people-oriented person, really seeing people and being able to connect with anyone helps you when you're doing challenges
Yeah.
and maybe being around people that you're not used to being around. There's just
Mm-hmm.
so much that's all serving and
Yeah. Well,
feeding on each other.
it's so, so cool. And I definitely think like, obviously there's hard times, but like I always look for the positive. I always look for the silver lining,
Yeah.
Like if we're really here to just experience and grow, well, then that's what I'm here to do. And I'm here to continue to figure out how that growth can be reapplied and how I can
Yeah.
reach a new level. It's literally my purpose here is to grow.
Mm,
That's it. It
hmm.
is to grow. I don't need to do anything else. Before it used to be, oh, I need to be rich and like,
Sure.
I want to have money. Like back when I didn't understand
Right.
anything.
Yep.
But now I understand. It's like feel safe, be happy,
Mm.
healthy, and grow. And what
Yeah.
else are we here to do?
Exactly. I truly believe that's our life's work. And I think when
Hmm.
you're in alignment with that, whatever that purpose is,
Hmm.
the money, the things will come as you need them
Yeah,
to.
absolutely.
I feel like you don't actually have to work so hard at those
Yeah,
if you're in alignment.
I think so too. And also, it's like when you realize the money coming in, when you're using it for your purpose, you'll
Hmm.
be given what you need to use for your purpose.
Exactly.
You can just keep cycling it through. I think like one of the best books that I've ever read of about money was The Soul of Money by Lynn Twist. And
Ooh.
she talks about the spirit of money. She like helped major philanthropists who were donating money to like helping end world hunger and all of these
Yeah.
incredible organizations. And she had a point was like turning down people from giving major donations because energetically she was like, this isn't aligned.
Yep.
And I mean, I'll let you read the book on your own if you want, but it really changed my perspective around money, which
Mm.
is not something I thought we were going to talk about today either.
You never know
You never
where you're
do.
gonna go.
Yeah.
But it's so important, right? It's very energetic, and especially
Mhm.
for HSPs, I think we always feel like, oh, money isn't going to happen for me, and
Mm.
this is a common mindset I see. It's like, well, maybe not the way you think it will,
Mm-hmm.
but it could. And
Yes.
I love, I'm a big believer in that money is energy, and we need to look deeper than just what's on the surface of money.
Yes.
So yeah, I'll put that in the show notes for folks. Soul of Money. It sounds
Yes.
amazing.
It's amazing. I think you'd love it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mm.
Ooh, I'm gonna, yeah, put that on my to read list.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, there's so many layers in all this. So you are someone that's really modeling, as I said, holding the internal and the external,
Mm.
finding those balances, bringing more depth to something that we may see as superficial, like working out
Mm.
or earning money or being in the public eye. But it's more than that, right? And it's
Mm.
so apparent. Like I said, it just pops off the page. Is there anything else that you want to share about balancing those parts of yourself, right? This really deep, introspective, creative part, and then this more athletic, resilience, external part.
Yeah, I think I'm still learning first and
Yeah.
foremost, so I
Yeah.
still like I look at videos of myself when I was like, 10 years ago and I cringed so bad. And so
Sure.
I can imagine I'm probably going to be cringing 10 years from now.
Yep.
And it's just going to be a long life of looking back and cringing. But I think what is cool is that I'm showing up, and the balance of it all really stems from what am I feeling when I'm super sensitive right now? And can this emotion somehow help me define what I feel strongly about in general and what I think my purpose is? And then
Yes.
how can I use all of these things in my toolkit, whether it's like, working out or meditating? And then how can I use this energy that I'm creating in my body, because it's energy? And how can I channel it into something that is going to serve my purpose? And it's a cycle of that, because sometimes I don't feel like I can show up. There are
Yeah.
definitely days where I just had a day like this on Monday. I was like, I'm calling out sick. Meanwhile, I work from home, but I'm like blanket over the
Yeah.
head, in my pajamas all day,
Yeah.
on my couch, did not move.
Yep.
So, like, I definitely think it's a balance, and I
Mhm.
keep trying to show up.
Yeah.
And purpose is a big one too. Just finding your purpose. Like,
Yeah.
where are these emotions coming from, and how can you return those emotions back into what drives you in the first place?
Mm. So well said. Yeah, just that purpose, it's powerful, but also you need to rest along the way.
Yeah.
Right? When your body is saying no, even if you work from home, I think people get in this trap. Like you can still have a sick day,
Oh yeah.
right? You still need to hibernate and just shut the world out for a moment. And so that seems like that's what gets you through this kind of just this balance.
Yeah,
I'm engaging, but
definitely.
I'm also retreating and taking care of myself.
Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
it's definitely been easier for me recently to start taking care of myself.
Mm.
And it's like rest had to be viewed as progress. It's messed up, because it's like I can only accept rest when it's progress. Like, does that mean that I've based my worth off of
I
progress? Why
know.
can't I just be?
I know. It's such a tricky thing because yes, you can justify rest because it will make you more productive, but do you really want to have to do that?
No,
Right?
I mean, like, if it gives me rest, that's awesome. But like, more recently, I've becoming like, no, I'm just gonna chill. And now I get it. When I go visit my Nana at her old people home, which shout out to them because they're
Yeah.
legends in there, they don't care. And they're
Right?
doing, and I feel like I'm getting to that place just a
Yes.
lot sooner.
That's a dream, right?
The dream. It's funny because I started taking guitar lessons because I've
Uh-huh.
always wanted to play, but I tell my guitar teacher, I'm like, my goal is to not be good now. It's to be good when I'm 75, 80 in that home. And
Yes.
I'm going to be a rock star then. I'm setting long-term goals.
That is it, right? That's
Yeah.
the magic.
Yeah. So, it's all growing though. That's what I'm really getting at here. Just allowing myself to accept that, yeah, it's good
Mm,
to rest. And it's been a beautiful part of the process to learn
yeah.
that.
Yeah, and it's all growing. It's all feeding the same mission,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And you're gonna get there. Holding that goal of I'll get there when I'm 80, it's like, well, what's the rush?
What's the rush?
Right?
Yeah, like why can't we set goals for when we're 80?
Well, exactly. Like, oh, I've got
Yeah,
50, 60 years. Oh, let me just take my
exactly.
time. I can rest along the way.
I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna take my sweet time. Not rushing. I
That's it.
decided I was gonna be on Earth for a long time, like
Yep.
maybe a year ago. I was like, you know what? I have a lot of work to do here. I don't know what,
Yes.
but I have a lot of work to do, and I'm gonna
Yes.
I'm gonna be here for a while.
Yeah, and just making that commitment, it's like, okay, yeah, I don't have to get there tomorrow. I can
Nah.
pump the brakes a little bit. Takes the
Hmm.
pressure off.
Totally. And also like to like live in the moment. Like
Yes.
there's so much medicine in the moment. It's
Yes.
like
Mm.
when I look at my cat, truly, I see God. And I
Yes.
like I really do. Like no
Yes.
one can tell me otherwise. I'm like, God made this. Only God, the divine creator, like the universe, could create something so magical like this being
Mhm.
who loves to be around me. Like that's so sweet.
Cats are amazing,
Oh God, they're the best.
right? What's your cat's name?
Miso.
Oh, that's right, Miso.
Yeah.
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 Oh,
And
so
like
sweet.
so I think the being in the present moment, like allowing us to be there, which also
Mm.
meditation helps too. It's really about being in the present moment. It's like if we can just exist, have more of these moments in our lives, then it creates the tension of like, feeling like over stimulated or feeling like over emotional or being
Yes.
unable to manage emotions. And then also like when you're just out there and you're performing, it's like, well, then what's that third piece of just existing? Because what am I here
Right.
to do? Just feel and compete? That's
Right.
rough.
That's really rough.
Rough.
You need some breathing room,
Breathing room. Give me a
right?
tank. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and if you're in the moment and you're taking that pressure down, when you pulling the covers up, you can just let yourself pull the covers over your head.
Yeah.
There's no what about tomorrow? There's no what ifs.
Yeah.
Like, this is what my body needs right now. Let me give it to it.
Absolutely.
Right?
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm. So many
I
good
know.
lessons today.
Yes. Yes.
Tori, this was an amazing conversation. I really appreciate, all the layers that you shared, and it was fun putting some of the pieces together and seeing the complexity of your story. This is a true HSP experience, right? We have layers and depth and all these things that we grapple with, these bigger questions. I do want to see if there's any final thoughts you want to leave for listeners before we go.
Final thoughts. Um, I'm just grateful. I think like I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for the space you're creating and the work you're doing. I was
Mm,
very excited to chat with you because of who you are and what you put
mm,
out into the world. And I think that just kind of like leaves me on like a note of gratitude and how good it
mm.
feels. That's always a safe space, you know? Like if you ever feel
Yeah.
like you need to find a safe space, find gratitude because
Yes.
that's always a safe space in your heart.
It truly is, isn't it? It's like, oh, there's something that I can lean into and attach to.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just want to say welcome to the HSP family.
Thank you. Seriously, no, you truly introduced me to it. So
Oh,
thank you.
I'm just so grateful it's always amazing to me that I get to be a part of that process for someone. Like, because I remember what that was like. Someone gave that gift to me, and then to be able to give that gift to someone else.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful that that's how we do it. We just connect and pull people in and like, well, this is you.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you never know when you're going to learn something about yourself. And so,
Right? It's
yeah.
never too late.
I was pulled to your book like a magnet. I saw it on an Instagram post and I said, I need to go in there and get it. And I went into Ren's the next day and I got it. Like it
I
was a
love that.
magnet. So yeah, I knew it was the universe pulling me like, read
Oh,
this. There's something here.
thank you for that. And yeah, thanks for diving in and doing the
Yeah,
work. I mean,
absolutely.
you did that.
I mean, look where it brought me now,
I
exciting
know.
new chapters where I get to explore, meditation even more. And
Oh,
so, yeah,
I'm
I
so excited for you for that. I can't wait to see how that
Thank
unfolds.
you. Yes, thank you. And when I start hosting like virtual little workshops, I'm definitely going to host like a meditation party to celebrate my certification, but I'm going to
Oh,
throw a free meditation like virtual workshop online for people so they can get introduced to it. So when I do that, I'd love to be able to, invite your
yes.
audience to come and you to come.
Please.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to be there and just to
Thank
see you
you.
step into that role and be part of that community that you're building. Thank you. And thank you for that invitation because that feels really
Yeah.
special to witness. Like, oh,
Thank
you're
you.
crossing over this threshold
Yeah.
from student to
Yeah.
teacher.
I know. Very nervous, which is why I'm going to be throwing a few free workshops to kind of
Makes
get my,
sense.
but also
Yep.
very excited. So thank you.
Yeah. Clearly it's a passion and a purpose
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah, it feels that way.
Well, Tori, I will be sure to share for folks the all the resources that you have, your website, your social media. Folks can pick up Soul Spell. Please do. I highly recommend it. It's
Thank you.
beautiful. The wording, the imagery. You and Vera have really done a beautiful job with that. It's
Thank
such
you.
an HSP haven. And I know you often do events. So do you have any
Yes.
events coming up?
Yes, yes, I actually do. I'm really excited to be collaborating with Little Words Project in the King of Prussia Mall at the end of May in Philadelphia. And it's going to be a really cool little pop-up poetry event where we're going to be creating bracelets together,
Hmm.
obviously through Little Words Project, and then working on some poetry and helping people to kind of step into that because everyone's a poet, really.
Yes.
Everybody has the ability to channel creativity. And it's just a muscle that you have to practice with and allow
Mm-mm.
to stretch. And so I love to lead people through that experience. And I'm excited to do that. So if you're in the Philadelphia region, end of May, slide on through because it would be an honor to have
Oh,
any of you guys there.
amazing. I mean, just to get together, to create, to connect.
Yeah.
I mean, your events that pop up look so just so enriching and well, fun, but also
Yeah.
just really healing just to have
Thank
that
you.
space. I'm so just grateful that you're doing that. We need more of that in the world.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's so fun, Like I feel like it's fun to go out to like I guess it's not actually fun to go out to a club, but like, it's fun to go out and do something that feels high
Yeah,
energy, but also
exactly.
feels has depth. So that's kind of
Exactly.
what I like to cultivate is like how can there be depth but also
Right.
feel like you're just going to hang out with your girls?
Exactly. Right. I mean, we need more of those spaces at
Yes.
HSPs. We really do.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, you're creating, putting them out there for
Hey,
us.
we're both doing the work, baby. We're both out here.
We're trying, yeah.
We're trying. Yeah.
Oh, I love it so much. Well, Tori, thank you again.
Oh,
It
thank you
was
so much,
great.
April. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Absolutely.